So right now here in Australia, the current retirement age is 66 years of age, meaning you got to work until you're 66 before you can access your superannuation fund and before you can access the pension. Now, to be honest, who really wants to work until they're 66 years old if they don't have to? And even then, once you get to that age and you access your superannuation fund, it's most likely not going to be enough to cover you through a comfortable retirement. In this video, we're going to talk about some tips that you can use that's going to help you retire early and bring that age down from 66 down to 55, 50, or even earlier, depending on where you're starting. So let's start with tip number one. And right now, if you're in the workforce and you're currently working, the best thing you can do is increase your income. You want to maximize your income as much as you possibly can while you can do it. And it doesn't matter if you've got one stream of income through an employer or you have multiple income streams. Your goal right now, if you're working, should be to maximize that income and earn as much money as you possibly can. Okay, so tip number two on how to retire early is live below your means. Now, this is a very obvious one, but even for me, I preach this stuff every single week. This is the hardest thing to do, but it's the most powerful thing you can do on this list. If you're living below your means currently and you are saving significantly, that's awesome. If you're not, here's what you can do about it. So there's a little bit of work up front, but what you want to do is work out your annual expenses. Like, how much is your current lifestyle costing you on an annual basis? And you want to go as detailed as you possibly can here. So you want to take into account your rent or mortgage, your utility bills, your insurances, the car, the registration, the transport, the entertainment, the clothes, the going out, everything you possibly spend in a year. You want to work out what that is. And then once you have that annual figure, what you then want to do is divide it by how many times a year you get paid. So if you get paid monthly, you divide your annual expenses by 12. And then what that gives you is the expenses on a pay cycle basis. So then when you get paid, you know, okay, I need to put X amount of money aside to cover all of my lifestyle expenses. But the important thing by actually doing this and looking through how much you spend, you then might find there's areas that you're just spending way too much money on, and you can actually start reducing your expenses. And obviously, by reducing your expenses, you're then going to be able to save and invest more. And that's probably the most important thing out of doing that particular exercise. And then by doing that, you'll be able to work out how you can start actually living below your means and below your income. So you then have a surplus of income each and every time you get paid to then save and invest. Which brings us to tip number three on how to retire early. And this is save as much as you possibly can. So after we've done tip number two and we're living below our means and we know how much money we can set aside to actually save, this is where you just want to bunker down and just save as much as you possibly can. Now, quite obviously, you might not be able to save consistently each and every single month because there's just stuff that comes up in life. But generally what you want to be doing is saving more this year than you did the previous year. That's kind of the whole premise behind saving as much as you possibly can. So get to it and start saving. So tip number four on how to retire early is you want to invest as early as you possibly can. Like, if you're in your late teens and 20s, this is the best time to start investing because you can take advantage of time and compounding. And by the time you get to retirement age, you're going to have a very healthy portfolio. But all is not lost. If you're a little bit older, 45, 50, or even 60, you can still invest if you haven't started already, and you can still reap the rewards of investing. But then quite obviously the question is, what do we invest in? Now, for me personally, I'm only ever really going to choose two types of investments for retirement purposes. And number one, my go-to is always going to be real estate investing. And the number one reason for this is because you are leveraging, you're using the bank's money to go and make more money for yourself. Now, I know that the entry costs, the holding costs, and also the exit costs of real estate investing is extremely expensive and it can turn a lot of people away. Now, if real estate investing is not your thing, I would highly recommend investing in an index fund. This is something that you can then contribute to over time, reinvest the dividends, and then grow your portfolio from there. So real estate or index funds are a great way to build a retirement investment portfolio. But ultimately, what we're trying to do here is, after we've increased our income, after we've reduced our expenses, after we're saving as much as we can, and after we've started investing, the whole idea is to obviously grow an investment portfolio that one day you can actually then start to use to replace the income that you've got right now. So whatever investment you choose to go down, whether it's real estate, index funds, or even something else, the idea is that you can get it to a point where it's going to start paying you an income. Ultimately, then you can retire and do the things that you really want to do with your life. If you need more detailed information on what we've just spoken about and you want to have a chat, head over to my website, smashthecycle.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me and I can talk you through in detail what we've just spoken about and work out a plan that's going to work for you. That's all we have time for today's video. I appreciate you watching and stopping by the channel. Until next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'll catch you soon.